Hey,
Hi.
hi, how are you?
I have my dog with me.
Hmm, nice.
Tired.
Where is he?
She's here. Can you hear? Can you see? Because I'm not sure if my connection is okay.
Is it
Чараш
a breed?
говориш на сесията. Ah, sorry?
Is it what kind of dog is it? Oh, you didn't hear me.
It's a hunting dog.
Hmm.
Yes, but I'm not sure if my connection is bad or probably
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
my connection. Let me just switch my internet.
I can hear you well, but you're all pixelized. Yeah, this.
Better now? There.
Let's see.
Чара, покажи се. Ето те.
How old is she?
2.
Hmm. I want to buy a dog as well. Not to buy, uh, but to adopt one.
Yes, it's a good cause.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon. I was just showing my dog. I actually, she was hit by a car. I found her by the road.
Hmm. Ah.
I always wanted to have a dog, but I don't like waking up early. So, but then she came. So.
Just a second, I'm adding the rest.
Yes.
That was a sad story, didn't it, Turan?
I was telling about my dog.
Yeah. Did you enter too? And she was hit by a car, and Yana was like, she was starting to cry. Hi, Magic. Hi, Andrew.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, so good. We're almost done.
Yeah.
This is Yana and Lauren, and they're our hosts today and taking care of us. I'm just here for moral support, really providing nothing else. Other than
But we need the
I
more.
can hear you too well, Angel.
That time. This hour.
I said I'm just here for a laugh and a smile and moral support. They're the real people behind this.
We'll see how things go when the questions start rolling in.
So, Angel, I've got some questions that I wrote here. Do you want me to just Skype those to you or something if there isn't any questions?
Yana wants you to put them in this chat right here.
Oh, in this chat? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. She's going to make the magic happen. I told you I'm here for no purpose at all.
Okay. So here. Oh, the formatting didn't quite come out as I wanted. So the first one would be to myself, the second one to Andrew, and the third one to myself.
I'm hearing some kind of echo. Maybe whoever is not speaking should mute. If you can please repeat, because I couldn't hear.
Yeah, can you hear me okay now? Okay, so the first question would be for me, the second question would be for Andrew, and the third question would be back to me.
So let's talk about how that will happen, because you two are going to be the only two on screen. So that's whichever one of you is serving as kind of the moderator. Yana's going to share a link with you where you can see all the questions. It looks just like what you see when you're watching the session live. It's actually those questions that are coming in. There it is. And So one of you will read through the questions and kind of pitch them to the other. So one of you needs to do the introduction. What we did this morning with Andreas, I don't know if you saw his at all, but Tobias joined him and served as moderator. And so they greeted him and said, you're seeing different people that are speaking because we're following the clock here, and the folks on the other side of the globe are still sleeping, and just introduced themselves and then started addressing the questions. You're muted.
Andrew, do you want to volunteer to be moderator and take some of the questions that are more from the environmental and the regulatory side, if any come in?
Okay, now let me try that again. So yeah, I don't have a prompt. I don't know if for the introduction in, since you were in the video, does it make sense to say, welcome back? A couple of the colleagues are with me during the session. We're unable to attend today, and fellow colleague from the department, Andrew Packer, will be joining for the Q&A. I don't know if it would just transition better that way since they just saw you on video.
Makes sense to me. Yep, I can do a short intro and then take it from there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you want me to read the questions, I can do the reading of the questions if it's one that I will be taking anyways, and I'll just answer it. If not, I'll read the question, then I'll say, Maciek, can you provide some insight into this question?
So you
Okay.
guys the questions will be coming in while we're watching the session, and you'll kind of be able to talk about which ones you want to answer and which ones you don't want to answer. And if there's anything you don't want to answer, then you just don't tell them at the end, there are a few questions we weren't able to get to, but we will follow up like we are for all the other sessions, and
Okay.
we've run out of time.
So the people that are watching it, are they seeing all the questions come up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they would know if we ignored one then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that's okay. That's okay, because sometimes it's, you're just not the appropriate person to answer the question, and that's okay. So you just say at the end, hey, there's a few questions we ran out of time and we weren't able to get to, but we will follow up after the event accordingly. And Yana will drop these in if nothing is happening. You two can just relax, Laurent and Yana. I got this. Turns out I do have a purpose today.
I
can go home, right?
No, not yet.
Just have a quick question. Do I need to be logged into like the virtual meeting thing at all, or should I close all the other windows and I don't have to be like in the exhibition or any of the other stuff, right?
No, you can close all that.
Right? And then the link you sent, we need to click and open that up then. That's what's streaming so we should do that now?
Sure.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let them start talking now.
Andrew, do you have headphones with microphones that you can connect?
Yeah, is this not going well?
Yeah, it sounds a bit low, and let's check it with the headphones.
Can you hear how Laurent sounds, Andrew? How he's like in a tin can? You sound a little the same.
I sound the same?
Okay, is this better?
Yeah,
Much better? Okay.
You're loud enough, Laurent. It's just that echo that happens when there's no headset. It's fine because you're not going on camera. So for us, you don't need it. You're fine. You're fine. Don't worry.
Do you need me to put some on as well, or is mine okay?
Yeah, it helps.
Okay.
Now it's better. Now it sounds better.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So basically, Angelica explained most of the things. I just want to add a few other comments. We have the chat here, the one that you see in front of you, that you already sent messages. The audience are they're not able to see it. It's only us. During the session, Yana, Angelica and I will be muted and and with our camera off, but we will be here. Every once in a while, we will send you some messages in the chat how long we still have left for the session. I don't know, how long do we have for the Q&A?
We have around 20 minutes, which is quite a lot. So in case you feel that there are not enough questions, or you don't feel that you can talk for 20 minutes, nobody will be asking you to. You can just wrap up the session a little bit before, because it doesn't make sense. We don't want to push you and ask you to speak for 20 minutes if there's nothing.
Okay, when you, who's going to open the session?
I will.
Okay, so what I will announce before that that we the time that we are, still have left before we are going live. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute, etc. Around 10 seconds or a bit more, I'm going to mute myself, and when we are going live, you will see in the chat, you will see this message.
Sorry, now is the time to say that I got the numbers confused. You have 13 minutes for live Q&A, but the rule still applies if you don't feel that 13 minutes will.
So 1-3, right? 1-3.
1-3, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I opened the link that you sent, and I have that one in front of me. So most of the time I'll be looking straight at the camera. Right now I'm looking over because I have our chat over on the other monitor. So all we're going to see on that link is the questions coming through, right?
Yes.
Our faces are going to stay over on the other screen. Okay.
Yes. Basically, we are about to start in 70 minutes. Okay, we're about to start the video in 70 minutes, and people will, the audience already, when they see the video, they already start to send messages, questions, so you will see it as well before we go live. Once you see the message in the chat, you can start talking to encourage the audience to ask questions. It's okay. When we go offline, there will be some awkward moment. It's okay. I will break in, and I will let you know once we are offline. There is when I'm disconnecting the broadcast, it takes several seconds, so there will be an awkward moment. It's okay, don't worry about it. I think that's it. Did I forget anything? It doesn't matter, because Angelica did the rest.
No, I think everything sounded good. Plus, we're here to remind you guys all the way until. So we're here really early. You basically get to hang out and watch the whole session here.
So it's your first session today, right?
Theirs, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it's our one and only session that we have to do live. So it's the only one I didn't have to do the recorded one. That was magic.
The session already took place in the morning, but different people were in the live part of the session.
We got good feedback from that, by the way. So.
Oh,
Do
so
you
it's
remember,
an
Laurent,
email.
yesterday we were talking about the guy with a really great background and the map, and he could just point to where he's from? That's him.
Oh, nice.
when he first came on, I thought he was going to start telling us about the weather and the political things going on around the world.
Wow, that's
I
good.
am right here.
I'm not allowed to go here, 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 here.
Yeah.
I go from.
Oh yeah, and Magic. Both of you are in Canada, yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
we can't even come to the office.
So we have U.S., Israel, Canada, and Bulgaria
Oh wow.
on the screen here.
Show us on the map.
So when in one of my birthdays, I got a small map from a friend of mine, which he colored all the countries that I've been in. And I thought that I've traveled a lot. But,
Until you saw that.
when you saw it, when you see it on the map, suddenly you say, "Okay, I've been in most of Europe, but it's tiny." And at that time, I'd been only in 2 states in the United States, and that was I didn't do much more from since then, but.
So he colored only the states and not the whole country?
No, the whole country. In the US, it's a bit different. But when you visit Germany, you can color everything, even though it also stays there. But you should color it too. I don't know.
I was gonna put pins in, and then my wife was arguing with me because you can only put pins in where we were together. No, I want to put mine. You put your color. So.
Then you get the whole logistics of the color, right? This color is for family trips. This color, yeah. I was gonna do the same thing. I have a map, I think, almost like yours, Magic, rolled up in the cloud, and I still haven't gone out through all my old expense reports and found out all the different places in the last 20 years for work. But,
Oh, that sounds like quite the project, though.
yeah.
Andrew's got everything neatly filed away in a bin, every receipt, every expense report, every trip.
Okay, COVID's allowed me to start to purge. I'm in the house a little more often. That stuff gets thrown on a fire pit. So, yeah, we're slowly getting rid of it.
Andrew, before we go into live, are you using a personal computer, or I mean a laptop, or is it a?
So, a laptop?
If it's a laptop, can you please maybe just put the camera a little bit? Yes, perfect. Because sometimes your face gets, you see your name. Sometimes your face gets cut out because of.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I'm leaning back a bit more than I will once we're on camera.
Yeah.
But okay.
You will. Be like
one sec, I'm gonna move my son's car that I see in the background. Hold on.
Oh, that's funny.
That looks fun.
It's a nice car.
Yeah.
Wait, what was it?
Is it a Rolls Royce?
No, it was a
Camaro.
Chevy Camaro.
So just like a kid's car,
So-
Laurent.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it's a real camera.
No.
That's
Not
in
in the
the
basement.
driveway.
That would have taken a bit more time to move.
Yes. Yeah. We have a nice office in the basement, but now that we're home all the time, it's like a dungeon down here. So we all find places near windows. Just like when we worked in Detroit, we didn't have a window for the first 15 years of our career, and now that you have windows, you don't want to be in the basement. So.
That's right. Laurent, I was going to ask, where in the U.S. have you been? You said 2 states.
Maybe more. I've been in New York and Kentucky. I know that it's weird, but I've been in Kentucky, Atlanta, but that was connection, and California.
Okay, yeah. New York and California makes sense.
Kentucky doesn't.
Kentucky does not. This one is a little.
I was there for a bicycle trip, and I was amazed from this country, from this state. There are so many landscape there, vast landscape. That was really, really nice.
Kentucky is quite surprising with all the water too, the lakes and to do the houseboat trips, and but it's just not quite a destination place when you come from a different country, like not the standard destination. Actually.
No, it's not. It's not. It's been in kind of delegates. Long story.
Yeah.
We went to Kentucky and for bicycle trips for a week. and it was great. It was really great.
Trails or road?
A road.
Road.
Road biking, and it was we went. It's called bourbon and biking and drink bourbon.
Yeah, the bourbon trail. Okay, now we get it. Yeah, the bourbon trail. Now we get it.
I don't remember much.
Yeah. Because I would have thought, Andrew and Magic, wouldn't you have thought initially trail riding in Kentucky?
Yeah. Personally,
yeah,
I'm not a big fan of road riding, so the only way that would have made it interesting is with bourbon. So,
with bourbon, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Magic, can you trail ride too?
Not yet. I gotta pick it up.
Okay.
I moved now. I live closer to Andrew, so I'm sure I'm gonna get more pressure to get a mountain bike and start hitting the trails. So, but not yet.
Yeah. We could take remote office to the next level.
Almost 4-year-old loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take my son out once a week. He goes with me. We actually went last night after work, so I get him out because our trail near us is really nice this year. Plus, since we can't cross the border, all the riding I normally do with Brian Case, we haven't done any of that for this will be the second season. So I can't remember how to climb hills anymore. All the stuff near us is really nice trails, but it's all flat. So it's all cross country for sure. So
Reed learned how to ride a bike really early because, I mean, it's not standard that an almost 4-year-old is riding, and he loves the trails. And so I got my trail bike back out for the first time since I broke my ankle and previously dislocated my shoulder. And it's, I like riding with a 4-year-old because I'm a little nervous now after those accidents to take on the hills, but he's gaining courage faster than I am. So.
Yeah. That's why it's good to get him out as early as possible because they don't have that fear. So if you can get him in there and confident before the fear sets in, then they're usually pretty good. So we find the same with swimming. So if you give them the water as soon as possible, then they're usually pretty strong swimmers and not afraid of it.
Noted.
We started with the balance bike, the one without the pedals, and when we went to abroad, we took it with us in the airplane, and he was going all over the duty free and the terminal. And in Switzerland, they stopped him and tell him that stop, don't ride in the terminal. It's not allowed. But since then, because I cyclist intuitive, yeah, sorry. Well, I like cycling very much, and I try to take him every time that I go out. I'm trying to take him with me, and they don't like to ride. They don't like bicycle at all, so I'm going by myself.
Yeah. I find my son, everything's in negotiation. So he's like, oh, I'm tired today, Dad. But I drag his butt out, we go. And then when we get out there, he has fun. But it's just the effort to get him to go. But once we're there, he usually doesn't want to leave.
And how old is he now, Andrew? He's probably at that age where...
He's 10 now. So he thinks he's a little adult, but he's felt that for about 3 or 4 years now, being an only child. So.
Oh, I know what you mean. My son is 11 years old. We're in the same boat.
Yeah.
Okay, don't scare me, you guys. Mine's only 4, and he's still very agreeable to everything. He thinks I'm brilliant.
Well, all I could say is hopefully we're out of this COVID thing before he has to start doing a lot of online schooling, and then he can miss that part. Will never be in his memory because that's been a challenge. So I don't know how it's been for you with your son, but for Maciek and I, our kids have been. Over the last, since COVID, maybe 50% of their school time has now been online. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And if you think of all the challenges to this day that some of our colleagues have trying to operate Skype, we have our 10-year-olds doing Teams meetings and uploading assignments to their teacher. And yeah, they're definitely more equipped for video conference calls when they get into the professional world after these 2 years of school and under COVID. So
now that my son is going back to school here in Israel, the COVID is almost over. doesn't understand why he needs to go to school where there is Skype, there is Zoom. Why he needs to wake up in the morning.
We feel this way about going back to the office.
Yeah.
I was about to say the same.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong.
No.
You
no.
have to go to school though, so we don't kill you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's for
Because
For your safety.
school is not for you; it's for your parents.
yes, it's for our sanity. Yeah, because for Maciek and I think both of us miss some of the face-to-face interaction, like all of us in the office. But we usually have an hour drive in the morning and an hour drive at home, deal with customs every day. So I wouldn't say we've missed any of that. And just every once in a while, if I close my eyes and try to virtually think of doing that drive to the bridge, going across, it just gives you the chills. It's like, oh, not looking forward to that part of it again.
So you're actually in Canada, but work in the United States.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we both first started for the company, we were at Detroit Diesel's assembly plant, and door to door, we were actually probably closer to the plant than most of our colleagues that lived in the States, just because of where it wasn't the nicest end of town. So most people drove a half hour, 45 minutes to get to the plant, where we were only 15 minutes door to door. But after they moved us out to Novi, now we have
Really?
Yeah, we have about if it's a good day with no traffic, no issue at the border, we can do it in about 45 minutes usually, door to door.
But that's a record, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah. Typical is about an hour.
Yeah.
And then if we're really
I didn't realize Redford was that close.
Yeah, it wasn't far at all to get there. But then unfortunately, it's usually summertime, like on a Friday. If it was nice out, people are getting reckless. That's when the accident happens, and then you're sitting on I-96 for an hour and a half because of a bad accident, and then you can't get off the highway because everything's below grade or below ground there. So
Yeah, Yana, if you look at the map, Michigan and Canada, there's just a river in between us. So it's really not. You could swim it if you were a strong enough swimmer.
Maybe that will be faster than
some days. But yeah, so right now we have a bridge and a tunnel that connects the two countries, and they're currently it's the bridge to nowhere at the moment. They're working on building a new bridge, but this project started, I don't know, back in what do you think, 2016 probably is when they first started talking about it, and now construction is going on, but it was supposed to be done 2025. I don't know if that'll still happen or not.
Hopefully.
So, but all the infrastructure on the Canadian side is here. The freeway, everything routes to the beginning of a bridge that doesn't exist. And then since we haven't been to the U.S. side, I think the U.S. side also has the infrastructure going in for it. But apparently there's no foundations going into the river. Everything will be on the bedrock on both sides. Yeah. So I just found that out the other day. So everything, I guess, with the span of where it's going must be short enough that they're keeping the foundations on both sides of on the land on both sides, so they don't have to go into the water. So.
Hey, just a quick question. That timer that's going, that 39 minutes, is that what is that indicating?
I think it's the time since I opened the room.
Okay.
It's not doesn't mean basically the audience don't see it. It doesn't mean anything. It means that we are only live now.
The session has started, right?
The session is about to start in 1 minute 27 seconds.
So the actual, like the pre-recorded video is starting then?
Yes.
Okay, so that'll be about a half hour still after that before we actually get into it? Okay.
The video length is 32 minutes and 12 seconds.
Okay. That was Jeff's extra talking.
I'll tell you, never pre-record again. Never pre-record again.
Let's take over.
Never pre-record again. Also, never do to repeat the same thing twice a day. This is never again as well.
No, I was laughing when I watched the video when you sent it to me. Just the way Jeff goes, "Oh, that's a really good perspective." Just his lead into the next person talking was pretty funny. Just knowing Jeff, it was, he was definitely trying to
kill us. By the end, he was so angry, and he kept going, "Cut!"
Yeah,
which made it so hard for editing because you're trying to stop it right before he's going. I just assume, Yana. I assume that was what Amit was thinking. Like, just stop talking. Silence.
That was what I was thinking. Amit is like, he doesn't care.
Has he
He's such a
been in?
good guy.
Has he done any of the live sessions, or is he
No.
still at home? He's okay.
No, I think he's at home. But he's okay. We're we're keeping an eye on him.
Okay. Good.
He's checking up from time to time to ask if everything is going well. So.
One of our IT guys is right near Gaza, so it's a bit stressful for them
For
and
sure.
for him.
It's basically walking distance from Gaza when he showed me.
Sorry, I wasn't in. I was making sure that the video is going in. You're talking about Amit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, he's walking a distance is something that you can say.
Yeah. Amazing. And still he works through the whole thing.
Yes, it's a good distraction. It's a good distraction to work. I mean.
I also know that he's supporting the army. He's giving food to the soldiers and.
But I think just to anybody that needs it, right? Not just soldiers. I think that he and his wife are feeding everyone.
Yes, yes. The thing is that it's a really weird situation, since basically in the news, everybody here in Israel knows that it's going to end today or tomorrow. This is and already people are planning trips for Saturday. So it's a weird situation.
It's mind-boggling that you guys have lived through this so many times that it's just like,
here it goes again. And
yeah.
Yes. It's a weird situation. It's something that it's very hard it's very hard to explain. It's you need to live it and to understand it.
No, thank you. It's been enough. Yeah, it's been enough living it with all of you and knowing that there's people that, like, after the second event of working with the Kenneth team, you really get connected to the people you're working with all the time, and knowing that people that you have grown to care about are running to a shelter in the middle of the night is.
Yes, it's stressful. I know, and here is the situation is so complicated because both sides are fighting, and basically we don't know. I don't know if we understand completely why. So
I thought about we had in the US just the riots a year ago and the difference associated with that versus this, and how scary we felt all of that was, but yet missiles weren't falling out of the sky.
Yeah, and I can tell you that it's falling from the sky. There are all kinds of things that suddenly you are being alerted because of motorcycles and.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because everything else, then you just jump. I'm sure.
Yes.
How's it looking, guys? Yes. Any questions coming in yet? Go ahead.
I'm just gonna step away for 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm not gonna log out.
Okay. I am checking to see how many people are signed in. Give me just a second to refresh everything.
Yeah, because all I'm seeing, if I'm in the right spot, it's just saying Q&A, ask the speaker, type your question, and then.
So nothing's coming in yet, Ben.
I'm not seeing anything.
So when you open the session, just encourage the audience to write questions. Let them know that they can write the question during in the Q&A box, and I assume that people usually people start watching the video, and after several minutes, they're starting to type questions. It's something, and there are some sessions that they don't have questions at all. It's also something that they happens every once in a while.
Hey, Andrew, are you watching, like, does it make sense to drop any of these questions in based on what he's talking about at this point? Has he said anything about the dosing system or the space for the SCR?
I'm trying to go remember back to the.
Of course, he just stepped away.
Yeah, why don't we just give him a second to come back, because I know he spoke more to the regulations.
Okay.
So yeah, let him just quickly come back first, because I believe there is a video that's part of that presentation of showing our equipment in the SCR
Yes.
boxes and that. But for the life of me, I can't. I watched the video last, I think when you sent it to me on Monday, and my
Yeah, I
memories.
just pulled it up, so I didn't know how much of it I missed already.
Yeah, let's just give Matching a quick sec when he comes back then, if you seed one now. But are you guys seeing the same thing I am then, that there's no questions?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I'm monitoring all the time. I'm
Okay.
watching to make sure that they.
There's
So, yeah. So go ahead, Angel, if you want to ask the question.
Hey, Magic, when you look at the screen and where it is, do either of the questions that you have posed, or any of the questions you've posed, should they be going in at this point? Like, have you talked about the dosing system or the SCR space requirements?
I have not talked about them. Like, so during my presentation, I did not specifically talk about, I think I did mention the airless dosing just as a feature, but that's it.
Do you know when you ask that? I'm just trying to think of the timing of dropping in a question like this, because if you're gonna.
I'd say closer to the end of my presentation.
Okay. Do you know of any?
So I'm keeping an eye on your presentation then. And I'm sorry I have to ask this, but how do you pronounce your name exactly?
Matchek.
Magic.
Yep.
Okay. I would have never thought that's the way that you. What origin is like?
It's Polish.
It's Polish.
Yeah.
Do you know any Polish?
Yeah, I was born there. I moved to Canada when I was 6 years old, so I'm fluent. I still have lots of family there. I visit every couple of years.
I think I just know bardzo dobrze.
Yeah.
Is that a swear word, Yana?
No, it's a very polite. Actually, I'm surprised. Those are the ones that usually come out first.
Yeah, I know those too, but I didn't think it would be appropriate. We don't know each other that well.
Yeah. Sorry, I just got to step out for one more second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
We have 50 participants.
Which is
Okay,
good. We have the same amount
Yeah.
for the last session, so they didn't leave.
Nope.
Yeah, I just pulled it up on my other screen right now so I can see where we're at in the presentation. It's amazing. Matt Check is gone in this screen. You just see the map and he's talking over there.
He's like the Harry Potter pictures. He's moving, stepping away from one to go to another.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Angel, when I was logged into it earlier today, my son came out because I'm usually working in the shed. That way it's the only quiet spot in the house. But I figured you guys didn't want to see our bikes and stuff in the background. I thought this looked a little more like an office setting. But he was really impressed at looking. He goes, "Oh, are those real people walking around the convention center there?" I said, "No, this is all computer." And he thought it was
Nice. We
pretty
impressed
cool.
a 10-year-old.
Yeah. He was starting to ask, though, like, what would be the? I'm totally drawing a blank on Roadblocks and all the other video games are playing right now. I think they're expecting them to come across the screen too, but I said no. These guys are just eagerly waiting to hear somebody talk.
Ooh, here we go, SCR configuration. So now should we ask that?
Oh, there's the airless dosing.
So nobody's posed any questions yet. Is that what I'm seeing here? Just
That's
making sure mine's working. Okay.
So should I drop a question anonymously?
Sure.
So when you were gone, Maciek is mentioning too that when you first do the introduction, just remind people that they can put their questions into the Q&A bar on the right-hand side of the screen.
Okay.
Yep. So that one
I was
popped
so
up.
nervous my
Yep,
name
good.
would come.
Yeah, I can see it, so I'm on the right screen.
Angelica, did you feel how satisfying that was?
I felt very nervous that it was going to say Angelica Walamaki and everybody, and I would ruin the whole conference.
And actually, I had a typo there. It's supposed to be of, not or, airless dosing. Sorry.
That's fine.
If I posted that question, I would have corrected it.
It wouldn't look real because I think most of us in engineering, we went engineering because we can't read, write. We can just do math. So
This is what I wanted to say. It looks more legit.
More authentic.
Yeah.
All right, Yana, now you can ask about the challenges with accommodating the space for the engine and SCR because he's showing the engine and SCR stuff.
Thank you.
And you can correct all the spelling. You should know by now, proofreading is not my strength. We had to.
But then we will know that not an engineer posted
I am
this,
not an engineer. I am in marketing.
Yeah.
it's funny. I remember when the squiggly red and green lines first came out in your Word documents. You're wondering why you saw that red there, and you start right-clicking. Say, okay, spelt wrong. So now when it auto-corrects, you feel better until you find out they inserted the wrong word.
Yes, that happens to me too. Well, you saw our first email that had a proofreading is hard email that came right out after it. So.
Yeah, so we're still pretty early on because more than half the presentation is the conversation, wasn't it, with Bill and WETA and Foss?
Most of the recording.
There is 20 minutes for the video.
Okay. So Andrew, just to confirm, so after I do the intro and ask people to post their questions in the Q&A bar, you're gonna pose these questions, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then is there a segue to get out once we are done answering questions? Andrew, do you want to wrap it up or say thank you for everybody's attention or something to that effect, or how do you want to do that?
Yeah, I can do that. So Angel, when we spoke the other day, if we do have additional outstanding questions when we shut down, how do you want us to approach that? And do you want us to say that we've run out of time? We still see that there's some questions there. After the summit is done, we will take a look at those questions, address them, and post them publicly. Or how much information do you want me to say on that?
I would say keep it vague, but I'm waiting for Angelica to answer.
Sorry, I totally zoned out.
He was asking regarding the question if there are any questions remained unanswered. So basically, you can keep it very generic. I think.
Yeah, just say if there's any question, like if you haven't gotten to them or if you've run out of time, I would just say any questions that we weren't able to answer during this time, we'll follow up with later.
Okay. Keep it short.
We're working on a plan. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. It may be following up with specific people in the sessions versus something that goes out to everyone. We've got to
looks like we just
exactly.
Yeah, sorry, looks like we just got a question.
Yeah, we got the first legit question, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask if it was Yana because I saw Yana is doing something. No.
So
Andrew-
Magic, when I asked the question about what are the advantages and disadvantages, do you want me to say or of?
Up to you. So this one, Andrew, this question is going to go to me, I guess, as far as the maintenance goes.
Schedule.
Okay, yeah. So the answer is basically the SCR does not have any effect on the maintenance schedule of the engine. They're somewhat independently, but located in the same type of documentation. And oil changes are independent of the SCR and just they're according to the regular engine maintenance schedule.
Yep. That's probably Jeff Sherman asking that question.
Can you guys see who's in there?
Not right now. I mean, yes,
Okay.
at the end we'll know exactly who participated and everything, but I don't. Well, I don't know actually. Let me check.
Like you'll never know who asked the question, though, will you?
I won't. Not
yeah.
if they didn't put their name in it. But I might be able to see who's watching it.
Do you think I can go ahead and post the third question, which we didn't post so far, or
Is it now in the session where Marty and Will are talking with Jeff?
yes?
Yep.
I think it's valid, yeah.
It's Bill, Marty, and Will.
So that's the what the upcoming regulations? Is that the one you're talking about? Oh, because you already did the space, you put the advantage and disadvantage of airless, the space constraints,
the
the
second
maintenance.
The number 2. Do you know of any new or upcoming regulation? I'm going for it.
It looks like we have our 13 minutes filled already.
Yay.
Is there there's a thumbs up for one of the questions? Is that somebody just added that to it, or?
Yep, that means
Okay.
they like the question, and it wasn't me.
Okay.
Oh, and also, I don't know if you see that you have the option to click on popular or recent. If you click on popular, you will see first the most voted questions, which means that the order might change. If you click on recent, you will see the last one coming as first. So
Okay.
yeah, and they will always be in that order.
Okay, yeah, because that one that just popped up will be one that I don't know if we would answer, would we? Are either Foss or WETA looking at LNG for future vessels?
No, but maybe we could answer such that we do have gas fueled engines available. Currently, they're available for IMO 3, but we welcome the opportunity to work with either of those partners to pursue projects in that.
Okay.
Something like. Do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, if we get to, what I will do is I will leave this sorted as popular, and then based on popular, I'll go through the questions. Make sense? So that way, if people are voting on them, whatever ones get the most votes, that's where I'll start answering the questions. So if you're tracking it the same way, I'll just leave it on popular.
I'm on popular right now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that one I would just answer is I can't speak specifically for Foss and WETA, they're not part of the Q&A. However, when it comes to mobile gas products, we do have a Series 4000 mobile gas that's IMO 3 certified.
Mm-hmm.
And we were 746 kW and 1492.
Correct.
Okay.
Main propulsion.
Yeah. Okay. So how much time do we have still?
And we have 12 and a half minutes.
Okay.
If you want to grab a coffee,
I got a coffee. I may need to just step away for a second.
Grab a bio break.
Yeah, the next logical step after the coffee.
So for
It's
for
a
the
long
intro,
wait on this.
for the intro, I'm just going to say good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for attending this session. I'd like to introduce Andrew Packer. He will be joining me today in the Q&A session. Unfortunately, the other participants in the panel discussion are not available.
So I wouldn't even say that part. I would just say he'll be joining me today for Q&A.
Okay, for Q&A, yep. Okay.
Yeah, just delete the, don't even address that the others aren't there. It's okay.
Okay. And then please feel free and feel welcome to add any questions to the, what is it called? It's just the, how does it look like for them? Is it just the
Q&A tab.
Q&A tab, okay. Feel free to add any questions to the Q&A tab so that we can address them during the session. Okay.
Perfect.
Do you know, Magic, because the second part of that question on the LNG is, are there any LNG vessels operating in the bay? I'm not aware of any, are you?
I'm not aware of any either, no. There may be, like large vessels that come in, but not that operate regularly in the bay that I know of.
Let me mute myself so you don't hear my typing. Sorry.
But all in all, you guys have seen a pretty good turnout from all 3 days, for the most part.
So I just ran some statistics in our last one, and we're just under 2,000. I don't think we've hit quite 2,000 registrants yet, but it's like 1988, and of that, 1,214 have logged in, so it's just 61%. And the industry average on login rate for virtual conferences is about 45%. So we are definitely trending above average. When I was looking at some of the other numbers early on with how many people are logging into the sessions, it's really right on target. And even though the North American and Latin American sessions look like a lot lower since we only have 50 people, for example, there's only 460 people in NALA that are registered. So when you look at it from a percentage perspective, it's on par, if not slightly above the percentage that logged in this morning, because there's 1,450 people registered in EMEA with about 200 participating, 170. So from that perspective, it all looks really good. The feedback is really good. I think, it's a virtual event. And so conferences, I think, work well for virtual events, but it's still really difficult to network. That element is really hard to.
Did you say the booth is difficult?
The networking. I mean, the booths, we're having a little bit of challenges with the booths, with the logins and the people staying stuck in there for some reason.
Yeah, and I don't think that's such a big problem. I would say all the information that's available there, it seems like a lot of people are getting that, which is great. Yeah. But I think it's harder to approach somebody in a chat rather than you see somebody physically in a booth and say hi. It's easier to do that.
Agree.
Yeah.
And so they can at least get the information, but then it's, as the person staffing it, as then it feels quiet and you're like, am I doing something wrong? Nothing's happening.
Yeah.
But you're right. They are able to access all the stuff that we want them to have access to when they're doing it. So.
How long are the booths still open? Like, so after this session, because this is one of the last sessions, right? Are they still able to access like till the end of the day, or how does that work?
June 30th.
Oh, wow. Okay. Good.
So after, though, the conference closes, of course, the emails are the only way they can contact. And I think you're the one that will get the emails. So just keep an eye out for that.
Okay.
But yeah, they can retain, or they can visit the conference for the next 5.5 weeks. Which is also why we see fall off, right? I mean, if you were trying to squeeze in a conference during your work week and then you saw, oh, you mean I can come back to this at any point over the next 5 weeks? You're not going to force 12 hours in 3 days. You're going to break it up and come back when you have a few minutes to focus.
So then what happens after all of these live Q&As are done? Are these just added to the videos that are available then for the next 5 weeks? Yeah.
Yep. And they'll just play back one time, but have the Q&A from both time zones included at the end. I know, Yana, I know. Really tired. She's been doing this since.
It's not a problem.
What time this morning?
I woke up at 7 something, but starting at 8, and now it's almost 9. Yeah. No, I think it's not so much. It's not that tiring. The thing is that you're jumping from one session to another, and it's like nonstop. There's no bathroom break. So
go. You have 2 minutes. No, you can go when they go live.
Exactly, that's what I do. So,
but even to just get up and walk around, it's hard. You're sitting there all day. I know.
Yes, yes. And I envy my dog. She's walking around, sleeping around.
Yeah.
How much time still, Lauren?
Yeah, 10 minutes. That's all I was gonna ask. About 10
we
minutes.
have 6 minutes.
6. All right. I'll be right back.
So I'll give you guys all a laugh. Not everybody. Some of the other people know this already on my group text with the group, but I've been waking up with the team at 2:30 in the morning, and today I was supposed to sleep in until 5. And well, my son had an accident last night. He sleeps with us. We got peed on at 2:30 in the morning. So
that sucks.
That was a sign. I think it was a
so
sign.
Yana, that's exactly what I said. You should read the text message to Ron, because I laid there and tried to go back to sleep, and I was like, that's a sign. Like, God, is that you trying to wake me up right now and tell me I need to go check on the event? So I came in here and started texting Anne, and I was like, are you okay? Is everything fine? I couldn't go back to sleep. So again, even though I could sleep until 5 this morning, I've been up since 2:30.
So
I was just, sorry, Liran, I was just thinking how tomorrow I will sleep maybe until 9 or 10, but I'm sure that I will wake up at 7. So.
You will. But you will sleep better tonight knowing that there's nothing waiting for you tomorrow.
Oh, you don't know how much is waiting for me. Oh. You have no idea.
Hopefully nothing live though, right?
No, at least not that.
Are you on the event for the one on June?
I have one in the middle of June, yeah.
Oh, the one in the middle of June.
It's a different
yeah,
than
different than Ron and Hadar's.
Yeah, it's also for an American client, so they're also active mostly during the afternoon, which is good for me because I can sleep in.
So we have 4 minutes.
So I haven't seen any other questions come up, so I think being that we only have 13 minutes, we could probably fill that with what's there already.
The last question came in 12 minutes ago.
Ooh. Up to 70, you guys.
Ooh.
That's
70
actually really good.
70 participants, or
Yeah.
Good.
Damon only had 56 last. So 70 on day 3 is strong. I think reliable data was yesterday, right?
So
Reading Harbors was yesterday.
How reliable data can contribute to?
sorry, we are about to go live in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye, you guys. I'm turning off my camera and muting
Good
myself. Good luck.
Thank you.
You got this. I'll be cheering for you.
Take pictures.
Yes, I will.
I'm looking for your message, right? That says we are live now.
Yes, this is what I wanted to tell you. Yes, I have my reminder here. Okay.
And did you see that last? So go ahead.
I'm turning off my camera as well.
Andrew, that last question, do you see
Yeah,
that?
California is a pioneer for emission regulations. How will you and your company see implementation of alternative fuels here?
Can you take that one? Thank you.
Okay, 1 minute.
Deron, just to tell you to change the view of the screen.
Pardon? Oh.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
So Matt, check. How's the weather today?
Good. Rain over here.
Don't say that. Last time outside, it was 30 and sunny.
Yeah.
20 seconds. I'm muting myself. Keep track on the chat.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this session. I hope you enjoyed the information about the technical session, as well as the interesting panel discussion. Today, for our Q&A session, I'd like to introduce Andrew Packer. He's a senior marine application engineer working out of Novi, Michigan. He will be answering some questions as well as being the moderator for this Q&A session. Also, recall you can add or comment on any questions in the Q&A panel at the bottom. So please feel free to add any questions at any time.
All right, thank you, Maciek. So the first question that came in, I'll address to you, Maciek, is what are the advantages and disadvantages of airless dosing system?
So we did choose the airless dosing system for our SCR system, and maybe I'll go to the disadvantages first. There is an additional pump in the system used to pressurize the system and allow urea to flow through the system and cool the system as well. So one advantage is it's not a completely gravity-fed system. You do require a pump that is included. But there are, I think, many advantages in that you don't need additional equipment like a compressor. So a compressor needs additional maintenance. It also has a significant electricity draw on the vessel. So although the electric pump forcing the urea flow has some draw, I think in the end a compressor would cause a lot more load on the system and probably more maintenance over the long term. So there's definitely some advantages from that perspective.
Okay, thank you. All right, one more question that I'm going to ask you, and then there's a few that I'll address. So the next question that came in was, what has been the challenges of accommodating the space for the engine SCR system, as this is the first time for us in the marine industry that have had to not only put the engine into the application, but also an SCR system, which is a significant size of the engine.
Yes, it is. It is indeed significant in size. As you've seen in the presentation, we have tried to make the system as flexible and as accommodating as possible. But there are obviously challenges in implementing this, as there has to be some design changes to the vessels to accommodate this. We found that specifically in like high speed craft, light craft vessel, where weight and space is really a premium, there's been some challenges. Nothing we couldn't overcome by introducing different types of bellows and arranging the system slightly different. But indeed, we needed close cooperation between ourselves, distributors, machinery equipment suppliers, and the designers for the vessels to make sure all the equipment fits and is serviceable in the machinery space as it's installed.
Okay, thank you. Actually, when you mentioned serviceable, I got one more follow-up question for you. Does the addition of the SCR system affect the engine maintenance schedule or oil changes?
So the SCR system, although the maintenance schedule of the SCR system is on the same document for our engines, they are independent. So one does not necessarily affect the other. So as with regard to the oil change intervals, as you've seen from the presentation, this engine has a significantly reduced oil consumption. So you'll be adding noticeably less oil to the system as you're operating. But with regard to oil changes, it's a typical standard maintenance interval for the oil, and doesn't affect the SCR system itself.
Okay, thank you. We have a few regulatory type questions that I can address. The first one that came in was, do you know of any new or upcoming regulation from EPA and IMO? And if I look into my crystal ball at the moment, I'm not aware of anything new that's coming for us on the marine side, commercial marine specifically. EPA Tier 4 is the highest limit that we must achieve at the moment. And on the IMO side, it's the IMO 3, which is required for any of the emission control areas globally. There's also a question that came in. Let me just go to here for California specifically. So California is the pioneer in emission regulations. How do you and your company see the implementation of alternative fuels here? So a couple of things with California specifically. So California has the governing body CARB, which is responsible for emissions. At the moment, CARB is actually looking to add further emission requirements to operators within the state of California. And what that means for us at MTU is any of our vessels that are equipped with the EPA Tier 4 engines that Maciek went through in the earlier session, they would be required to have the SCR system plus a DPF to reduce the PM measurements. And there's a phased-in approach that's currently under discussion with CARB has reached out to the Engine Manufacturers Association, the U.S. Coast Guard, and also the EPA to work collectively to the goal of further reducing emissions in California. We're part of that, and we're working together to come up with what the solutions need to be for a phased-in process that would start early 2024. On the alternative fuel side specifically, from our understanding, it looks to be implemented starting January 1st, 2023. And from the engine manufacturer standpoint, we are working with some of our customers that are operating in that area to do some testing with the renewable diesel to ensure that we see no negative effects. As of today, all experience that we have is pointing to it's operating very similar to ultra low sulfur fuel, with the added benefit that you see a little less on any type of visible smoke. Let me just see here if we have any other questions that have come in. There's also one, are either Foss or WETA looking into LNG for future vessels? Are there any LNG vessels operating in the bay? From our standpoint, that Maciek and I know as part of MTU, we, through MTU, are developing and have a mobile gas engine available, which meets IMO 3 certification. We're still in the process of looking at an EPA 4 certification on that product, but as of right now, it's just an IMO 3. And I am not aware personally of any LNG vessels that are operating in the bay. And not saying that there aren't any, I'm just not aware of it. Nothing from us at MTU, at least.
Yeah, I agree with your comments, Andrew. I'm not aware of any LNG vessels permanently operating in the bay, although there may be some.
Okay, thank you. And I'll have you answer this one, Maciek. Another question came in. The presentation was focusing on EPA Tier 4 primarily. How does the engine and SCR configuration differ when looking at the IMO 3 layout?
So you won't actually notice any differences between the two arrangements for the workboat MO5 engine. The engine and SCR system configuration is identical. From that perspective, there are some software changes that are implemented, but it's basically transparent to the end user.
Okay, thank you. It looks like there is no other questions in the queue. We'll just give everybody maybe just a few seconds to see if there's something else that's come up or if there's a follow-up question to something that we've already answered. If not, I'll just take this opportunity right now to thank everybody for joining this session, and we appreciate the feedback. And there's no other questions, so I would say at this point, thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the summit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.